So again, we're going to squeegee it off. Clean that off, and sometimes if you want to speed up the drying process so you can see, you can use a cloth. I've got the fan going up top. So I'm just gonna, sometimes you can feel with the cloth if there's any, if I feel a little spot right there that I didn't get. You kind of feel that the brakes go on when you buff it off. So what I'm looking for is any more swirl marks, and we'll bring the camera over and see how it looks. Okay, so you can see there's swirl marks, but if I use the same grit, it appears to be that it's looking a lot better than the other day. So this is just the beginning. I just need to work that a little bit longer and get rid of those scratches right there. See there. So you got to make sure that there's no crumbs in that, any particles in those pads, because that's what will happen even on the highest grit. You think you have it all polished, and then all of a sudden you get this and you just scratch your head and you don't know why. So that's could happen also, and that could have happened right now. So we're going to go ahead and check the pad and wash it and clean it in the sink, and then go over this area again more thoroughly with the same grit. Okay, so we're going to switch the pad from a 400 to a 120, and we're just going to concentrate this area right here, right where the scratches were still predominant. So we're going to grab the sponge, add some water. Water is very important. I know it makes a mess, but you got to do it. So go in a circular motion for this application here, so, and then back and forth a little bit. You have to cover a fair amount of area. Go beyond. You have to go beyond. Don't let it get too dry either. So I can promise you almost 100% that scratch is out already, but I'm just going to work it a little bit longer. And a little further. And then back and forth both ways. So squeegee it up. You can really feel the difference with the squeegee. Where it breaks, it drags where it's a higher grit, or the lower grit, sorry. And you can feel where it's smooth, and then it stops, and then smooth again. So we're going to take a look as it's drying and see how we did. You can see as it dries that it appears to be gone. We'll get a little closer. But now you've put more scratches in, but they're finer scratches, so that potentially could be okay. So we're just going to work that 400 again over top of that, and then we should be good. Now you could also do what's called dry sanding, and I may do that with a 120 right now. So we're going to look at that, and that'll just take care of it. I mean, sometimes the wet pads they're not so effective in this situation where you need to get it honed down with no scratches before you can get past your 400 or 500 grit. So I'm going to show you a little extra trick just to get that smoother looking and no scratches. Okay, so I've dried it off and it looks a lot better. The scratches are getting out. We've got some swirl marks. I don't call them really, well, they are scratches, but it's coming out. I just have to work a little bit longer, but it's, remember, you really have to stop and dry it off and look in between processes. So it's looking real good everywhere else. When you move the camera on angles, it looks really good. So what I think happened right here was my sponge had some grit in it from, I didn't store it properly, so I think that's what has happened. A little bit of grit got on my sponge and in the water, and what it did was it stayed in my disc and swirled around and scratched the marble. So it's no big deal. We can take care of it. In a few minutes it'll be gone. So I'm going to work that area right there and with my 400 grit, and it'll take care of that. So I know I have my sponges clean. I've cleaned it out, and now we're going to go ahead and get rid of that little bit of scratch that's left in there.